You were taught about how to write citations, didn't you? And it's the same question, but not really. You pause and you wait for them to answer. They're under your control. They are now your witness. Don't tell my judges. But I like to tell myself when I walk in, this is my courtroom. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to your favorite show on the internet, Raw Law Unfiltered, with your favorite host, the DUI Guy. Plus, today we're going to continue in the saga of the cross-examination of the DUI Guy of Officer Oliver in Lyon County, Kentucky, February 16th, 2022. Lee Wilson, the prosecutor, DUI Guy in the defense, with my associate, Evan Bates. We have a 6-person jury. It's a DUI case. We're in the middle of the cross-examination. The police officer just admitted, after trying to weasel out of the answer, which is great for you as a cross-examiner, we just asked the police officer, hey, did you complete any supplemental training? Oh, yes, I did. I completed supplemental training on this and that. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, did you complete any supplemental training on the field sobriety tests? No, I did not. Now, I re-asked the same question because he failed to answer it the first time. I corrected him. Now I'm re-asking again. You did not complete any supplemental DUI training on field sobriety tests since 2007, 2008. Yes or no?
No.
No! We finally got the answer we were looking for. Boom. Let's go.
Okay.
Did you notice the body
Now,
language, by
during
the way?
your training
Oh, I love it. It's
in
so
2007,
uncomfortable.
2008,
So uncomfortable.
one of the things that you were taught as a future police officer is how to write citations.
Yes.
Right?
Very important. Now that you nailed him on the training, that you do not have any supplemental DUI training since 2007, and here we are 16, 17 years later at the time of the trial. Now that we've opened up the door to the training, let's talk about it in depth. You were taught about how to write citations, didn't you?
Citations are important because they document what happened with this particular case.
Yes.
Right? And so you were taught that they must be accurate,
Yes.
complete,
Yes.
and truthful.
Yes.
Right? Those are the 3 core principles.
Yes.
Because in the future, people would rely on the citation, on the information that you included in the citation, correct?
Correct.
Like here we are today. Mr. Wilson is relying on it, right?
Yes.
I'm relying on it. The jurors are relying on it. Right? So,
Did you catch, by the way, at one point I asked him a question, the jury is going to rely on it, the judge is going to rely on it, the prosecutor is going to rely on it, and it's the same question, but not really. I'm asking him the question in multiple different ways. I could just say everybody is going to rely on it, correct? But everybody is too general. I want to be specific. Your own prosecutor is going to rely on it. The people sitting in that box are going to rely on it. I am going to rely on it. The judge is going to rely on it. These questions seem redundant, but they're not. I've never been objected to by breaking them down to their constituent parts. And it's important because if you notice, there was a moment when he stopped answering. He was like, it's the same question. And no, you pause and you wait for them to answer. Why is that important? Because they're under your control. They are now your witness. You are the one testifying. They are the yes, no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, no person. Does that make sense? Very important to make sure that the questions that you are asking elicit yes or no responses. And if they fail to answer, don't rush to the next question. A lot of people they want to get their questions out as quickly as possible. And the jury will rely on it, and the judge will rely on it, and the cop will rely on it, and you will rely on it, and I will rely on it. No. Slow it down. Take a deep breath. And the prosecutor will rely on it. Yes. And a judge would rely on it. And if they don't answer, yes. Yes. And I would rely on it. Yes. And a jury would rely on it. Crickets. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Move on to your bit by bit. You are building repertoire with the jury. You're building rapport with the jury. You're actually even building an anti-rapport with the cop. Make them sweat. Make them uncomfortable. Make them understand that you know way more than they do, and make them worried about their case. Because it is the government's burden to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, right? If it's a criminal case, or by preponderance of the evidence if it's a civil case. So why should you give them the freebie of making them an important authority figure in the room when they don't deserve it? Take it away from them. Make it your own. You are the most important person in that room, not them. You are the one testifying. They are the puppet to say yes and no.
And in this case, by the way, you did not have any type of body camera or in-car camera of any sort.
No.
And you did not complete any supplemental reports in this case.
No.
So all the evidence that you have completed and documented.
Very important in cases where you don't have video and all you have are paper reports, which I don't know if you practice in small counties like I do. Usually big cities, cops are always going to have body cameras, so you're going to have video footage. But using a visual, simply walking up over to the jury, or excuse me, to the police officer with a piece of paper in hand and showing everything, not just what you're saying, but you're showing. Don't just say, show. Everything that you have written on this report is on this piece of paper, on these 5 lines or 6 lines or 2 lines or whatever it is. That gives the jury a visual of the whole case. And some of them, hopefully, are going to get frightened by the fact that this is all they have, and they're trying to convict a person of a crime and throw them in jail. Not on my watch. You just won. You literally just won.
Documented in this case rests in this uniform citation. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Notice how I walked over very calmly, very peacefully, over to the police officer with that piece of paper just to emphasize a point. Sometimes it's good to just be demonstrative. Use the space. Some of you who may have art degrees and are acting majors or something like that, or maybe have done acting, you understand what I'm doing. I'm using the space. It's an open space. I have props. My prop is a citation. My other prop is Officer Oliver. I am using the space. I'm walking around. When you use the space, by the way, it shows confidence. People who are frozen in space and frozen in time, standing behind the podium and just afraid to make a movement like a T-Rex. You've seen those people who that's all they do is they stand in one spot and they're afraid to move. It shows a lack of confidence. You don't want to display to the jury that you're not confident in your case. You are the most confident person in the room. I like to tell myself, don't tell my judges, but I like to tell myself when I walk in, this is my courtroom. And in my courtroom today, I'm going to pick my jury. I don't care about the prosecutor. The judge, of course I care about. They're the referee. And yes, it is their courtroom. But in my head, for my own personal psychological confidence, that little oomph boost that I need, I tell myself, this is my courtroom. I am free to walk around as if it's my own house. And then I will walk over to the jury. Now, I will in my head go, let me pick my jury. I am picking my jury for my client. We'll do some of those videos later on of how to pick a jury. But remember, use the space. Use demonstratives. Use props.
So anything that happens
And don't go too fast. Pay attention to how I'm not rushing through the questions. I am asking them one by one with lots of, I think they call them pregnant pauses.
important, you write down,
Yes.
right, for future use,
Right.
because memories are faulty, people forget things.
Right.
And
notice how now the officer is by inertia. He's just like, yes, right, yes. Because he learned. I coached him. I trained him already. When he stopped answering that one time, I immediately prompted an answer out of him. And now every time I pause, he understands, oh, that's my cue to respond. And that's exactly what he's doing. I have turned him already into my puppet 6 minutes into the cross-examination. Mission number 1 accomplished.
in this case, you created a complete and detailed report of the stop and arrest of Mr. Fernandez.
Yes.
I know it's been a while, But do you remember from the academy during...
Notice how I'm calling out. I know it's been a while, but do you remember from the academy something that I'm about to tell him?
the training on citations and writing DUI reports, and specifically DUI uniform citations, there's a slide that says, remember, if you didn't write it down, it didn't happen.
I don't recall that specifically, but I understand what you're saying.
Notice how he didn't say, no, I don't remember that. He is now deferring to me. He understands that I'm an authority figure that can be relied upon. He has become one of my jurors in a way because he is relying on me. I understand what you're saying. I don't remember that specifically. I've had police officers literally from the witness stand say, since you said it, I believe it's in there, and I'm not going to argue with you. So they basically admit, yeah, it's in there in so many words, which is exactly what you want.
Does it ring a vague bell?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
I even got him to admit it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining me on your favorite show on the internet, Raw Law Unfiltered, with your favorite host, the DUI Guy Plus, signing off. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.